Hi, I'm Keith Williams. I've worked on things like Web of Spider-Man and, Action Comics, She-Hulk, The Phantom, and you're on. What are we on? Oh my God! Oh no! I don't believe this. Splash Pages. We're on Splash Pages. Yes, yes. I knew. I knew I'd do that very well. I knew. Yes.
Hello, everybody. Oh, oh, my toes are beans again. Oh, my toes are beans again. Oh, no.
Hey everybody, welcome to Splash Pages. I'm Leo, the monkey behind the keyboard here. We got a great show for you. We've got a lot of great guests, great news. But let's I don't really think I'm Leo right now. So let's see what's going on next with the other guy.
Well, hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Splash Pages. We are going to go crazy tonight because Leo isn't here to guard us. Welcome to Splash Pages. We're going to have a great night tonight. I'm trying to figure all this out. I'm going a little crazy. Let's go over and see how Mahai is doing.
Hello, guys. Hello, hello. Cherries of Golf, builder of the things here. Just happy to be back on the show and happy Tuesday.
All right. Drew Malo.
What? Where? Oh, right, that's me. Yes, we have a great guest here. Um, I've never met him, but already he sounds great. It's kind of like when your friend talks about like someone you know who is like a really cool dad, and like they just hype him up all the time, and you kind of want to meet him, but then you're scared because they've been so hyped that you feel like you're going to embarrass yourself, and then then you say the worst thing possible when you meet him, and then you're like, well, that nightmare became true. That didn't happen. So, um, he's really chill. He's got a career that's absolutely fantastic, working with some of the comic book's best. You've seen him on Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular She-Hulk, Harlem Hellfighters. He did the Phantom for over almost a decade, or probably more. He's done a lot, and he's still a super nice guy. Our guest host can't stop raving about him. Everybody, the one, the only, the smiling Keith Williams.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hi. Thanks for inviting me to your
Woo!
show.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it, my man. So,
All right.
all right. So, Carrie, I just also want to stress the reason I was cracking up while we were waiting was because
Yes.
the cat Leo flashed randomly, and I just thought that was the reaction to adult content, nudity, discussions of violence. So I saw that end, and I just saw. Wait, no. This was the reaction. Hold on. I, it was just that was why I was cracking up for like 3 minutes straight. You know. So I
Fair.
just wanted to tell you that was an accident, but that was absolutely fantastic.
Of
So
course.
So I just wasn't
I
just getting
planned
the
that.
giggles out before the
Totally.
show. Um, so like I said, Keith, nice to finally meet you. Heard a lot, especially from the cheerful one above me, who got to see a lot of you recently at the show. So MJ, take it away.
Yeah, so I believe the first time we met was may have been Rhode Island Comic Con or Fan Expo. It was because I remember buying a few things from you. I bought Phantom, which, by the way, the person absolutely loved it. Because I think you met George. She was the one that had mentioned at when we saw it on Saturday that he's old enough that he remembers when it was just a comic strip. And the fact that you're able to keep like the same look, not slight change, of course, different artists, but he really enjoyed that, and he's correct. I really enjoyed the art style. You made the transition really well, and it ran for like a decade. It was a great read, and of course we got in the era of video game movies. um, yeah. I mean, I really feel like a lot of the art you did, and with well, of course you work with I have notes here because I'm like, dude, the career is so like everyone. When you worked on Remember, you worked on the mask with Enobo, yes?
I did work on the
Yeah,
Mask
yeah,
logo. I worked on the Mask regular series, the Dark
Mhm.
Horse also. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
yeah. I
It was
remember
good.
that because that style you have a really kind of a unique. Like everyone's got that their thing, like um. But I really like the mask, as you know, as opposed to the movie for Jim Carrey was very dark, but you still managed to have the vibrant color, but still keeping that aura of like he's not a great guy. Like you can tell, you feel the weight of it, and that's not really an easy thing to do in comics.
No, that's true. Yeah. Oh, wow. Big difference between the Jim Carrey and the Mask in the comics.
Oh
It's
yeah.
definitely darker in the comics. Yeah, and people do die a lot in that. But I really enjoyed working with Doug Monkey and oh God, it was something.
John Arcudi.
Cootie, yes, yes. I don't know how he sleeps. What kind of night he
Oh yeah.
has at night, but he puts them out there on a page. But it was great. I really enjoyed working with him on that and Walter also.
W- Well, I think
Walter.
the thing that was so funny about the mask, which is funny because Arcudi wrote one or two episodes for the animated series, which you could always tell because the plots were insane. Is like you said, like a lot of people, like I've told people, like, oh, it's based on a comic book, and people are like, really? What's it like? And I'm like, it's different. Stanley Ipkiss is in it. I can
Yeah,
confirm that. Um, but the like you said, he's such an anti-hero. Like it's no one is safe. But then again, as you go down, the mask, whoever was wearing it, always changed. So, which is always so funny because they only allude to that briefly in the film. That whoever wears it, it's a different power. But yeah, it was just such a different entity. So again, you got to work on that, and then compared to the other works you've also done, you seem to like comedy. You seem to like characters who got jokes.
oh, well, I'm just, I fell into those. I guess I was lucky in a way. It makes it more fun. I love inking monsters and stuff like that. Stuff that has weird kind of angles and things.
Mhm.
It's fun. The Mask had a lot of that. It was very insane. And also, like you have Spider-Man 2, which is like he's a joker. He always likes to make puns as he's fighting.
Mhm.
That's just the thing. Yeah, I enjoy the fun stuff, but
And,
still, there's a lot of dramatic stuff too.
and I think also another story that I want to highlight from our guest host is that you made her day because she was, I think one of the times you met her, she was wearing a costume nobody really recognized, and you were one of the two
Two
people
people
who gave
who knew.
her the credit. And I'm jamming to let, since it's your story, I feel it's weird telling it and you're right here. So,
So yeah, it was. So I really like. So backstory why I was so excited. It was the character was Photon, white. The comic photo white and it looked great, and I was really like it. No one knew who it was meant to be. It was like Keith and like maybe one other person knew. Oh, that's Photon. I'm like, get out of town. Like, um, and I really liked the character. I was telling a few friends of mine, it's kind of fun because when I heard they're making a Captain Marvel movie, I'm thinking Captain Marvel.
right.
It was like, oh, well, it was disappointing. The movie was great. Don't get me wrong, but like when I'm hearing Captain Marvel, I want Captain Marvel with a suit and all. I'm so excited. And I went out and I got that suit as a custom suit,
Right.
and I did it, and I enjoyed the suit, but it was kind of fresh that not only two people. Keith Williams, of course, it was fantastic. You're one of them, made me very happy. And like someone knows who it is, and it's a comic artist I really like. So that was like that made my month, I think.
That's great. Yeah, I that kind of stuff sticks in my head. How people look. So I would sometimes if somebody walks by the table and I see them and I know who they're supposed to be, I would just call it out.
Yeah,
So
We,
yeah, yeah.
Keith, we do a similar thing, and you can ask Carrie about this because we'll just be at our booth, and I'm just calling out people as they're passing by, trying to make their day and whatnot.
yeah,
And Carrie just gives me the look like, how the fuck do you remember who all these people are? Much less have a custom reference for each of them. Like, are you sure you're human?
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, because I think what it was, what was it? Also Zatanna, I think. So it was, yeah, you did Zatanna. Like, holy hell!
Yeah.
All
I
right,
yeah,
that's all right.
sure.
Zatanna, yeah,
I
because
love
but
comic books. You guys love comic books, so it's
I love
like
comics,
in there.
and
Yeah.
it's like
Well,
no, like very few people get that one either. Zatanna.
yeah. Well,
So
you know,
I would.
but I think that's the thing. When you're at a con, because I've done costumes where people stop to take photos like all the time, and then I've also done cons where 3 people take your photos. So everybody just wants a
Yes,
little credit here or there, because a lot of times they put hard work in their stuff, and we all want the attention,
I mean,
MJ, whether we
I
want to
mean,
admit it or not.
no.
We desire it. So, you
And
know.
I literally made my hat glow, guys, for this prop. Like my hat actually glow, like because I'm building Gambit stuff right now that lights. It's gonna light up, and it's gonna be. It's taking
Oh
forever, but it's
wow,
great.
that's great.
I, I, I'm going to be really sorry, but the next time I see you, if you have that stuff, I mean, you know what I'm going to say. So, I'm going to be like, I know how long you were waiting for that, and let me tell you, you should have waited longer. You know.
Rude. First of all, rude, sir. But you know what's sad about the Zatanna? I did all the props. I did make it glow. No one knew who I was. But as soon as as soon as Stephen, my Constantine, he cosplays as Constantine. Oh, then they get it. Thanks.
Okay, okay, you know who would have got it? Paul Dini would have knew who it was.
Oh,
Okay,
yes, Paul would have got it. That's true.
Paul Dini would have been like, I know you, and I'm like, we know Paul. You wrote the episode. We got it, buddy. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
But back
Oh,
to you, Keith.
can you hang on
Yes.
just a
Something
second?
I want to
Sorry.
bring up is that you worked
Hold on.
with
Drew,
yeah.
give him a second.
What? Is it me?
Sorry.
He's
Sorry. It was just my wife. She's
Oh,
in the
sorry,
room
Keith.
right now. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. She's out now. She's gone.
Hi, Mrs. Keith.
Hi, Mrs. Williams.
Oh, I gotta say that. I gotta tell her that. Hi, Mrs. Keith. I like that. That's great. Oh man.
Hey,
Okay.
Mrs. W.
Yeah. She's gone.
Oh, damn it. Delusion's gone. Snap the
Oh,
wand. We're
I am
done.
so sorry. Gosh, guys, go ahead. I'm good.
So my question was that in Spectacular She-Hulk, you got to work with the great John Byrne, who I met once. And I don't very often fanboy. Carrie can attest to it. There are some moments where I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for a creator. And meeting John I've never been more terrified in my life because I've heard great stories. And then I heard stories where he's very specific. So the entire time, I'm thinking of all the things I don't want to say. And I'm just reviewing in my brain, like, no, that's stupid. No, that's fanboy. No, that's illiterate. No, that's way too sexual. All these things. And then later on, I just get up. It's like, I'm a big fan of your work. Can you please sign these? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. You sound just like me. Oh, no, come on, come
Mirror
on.
the makeup.
I feel the same way when I go and meet people too. So I can understand how you could feel like that with John. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So, but what was it like working with John you're doing She-Hulk. This is the height. I mean, I feel like you guys were breaking fourth walls before Deadpool made it a thing,
Yeah, that is true. She-Hulk was first.
right?
Like she's totally aware of where she is and what's going on. Maybe that's why she has that kind of attitude that she has.
Hmm.
But it was great working with John. I think it was actually Mark Grunwald who
Oh
got me in
man.
touch with him with John because he was looking for somebody. At first, before the She-Hulk stuff to work as a background inker
Right.
on Alpha Flight, and I guess I did a good job with that. But even before that, he actually introduced me to comic book fans as an assistant working with him on the book. He had my name, on the inside of the book, which totally blew my mind. And he carried that on to the Hulk, and then
Mhm.
over to Action Comics, and then asked me if I was interested in doing She-Hulk, and I was definitely not going to say no to the person that I loved since Rod 2000.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
pull
yeah,
up a little
yeah.
bit of this real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he to me he's absolutely fantastic. I know I know the wow, that's the first one. I, I know he could be a curmudgeon in some cases, but and he gets I think a little upset with me because I'm always talking about the good part of him and everything. I think he'd rather be the curmudgeon, but sorry, John. You did really good by me. So thank you.
Well,
I really
yeah.
do appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, getting to meet him and just having his autograph. I just, I explain to people like, yep, met John Byrne. They're like, what was that like? I was like, it's something. It's it's something scary, but grateful. I have a photo of him signing my Hellboys
Wow.
because I'm a huge Hellboy fan. So I was like, yeah, I gotta. Like I had
Oh,
that and Man of Steel.
ah,
Um,
yeah.
and it was so cool. And like I have a photo of him signing my book. So someone like, you didn't get those signed. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Shazam, deal with it.
Uh,
But yeah, so
Yes.
just and the work you guys did was just fantastic. I mean,
thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
I was scared to death
I, I
to
can,
work
People are
over
probably
him.
wondering why I have this frozen, but you guys were talking about breaking the fourth wall, and it's just this is right where she's talking to the people as the panels cover her and like, yes, this is still a code approved book, just
yeah,
Yeah. That
just
one, I love the
chatting with
jump
us in
rope
her.
one too.
right.
That is great. Wow. I haven't really looked at this for a while, so it's like it's really something. Oh,
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah.
oh my gosh! Wow.
Yep.
It isn't half. I guess it isn't half bad. I was like, I'm always like saying, oh, I could do so much better on his stuff now.
Were Were you worried about the nostalgia goggles? It's like this was good then. And you're like, oh boy,
Yeah.
this is
Oh yeah. Yeah. I could
eh,
see. I could see things I could have done. Like better.
yeah. You see the cracks. You're like, nope,
Oh yeah. Lots
could
of
have done that
cracks.
better there. Um, and then another thing I wanted to bring up is you worked for
He moved.
quite a bit on Web of Spider-Man.
Yes.
Um, and my God, I mean, the amount of different writers, artists, and whatnot you had during your time. I mean, that was crazy. So, I mean, um, what was that like working with, where, you'd have someone for a while and then it would shift?
Well, uh, that's the advantage of being an anchor, I guess. Is that you're not just on one book for a long period of time. Like pencilers, they have like a certain book that's theirs, and people identify with that. With me being an inker, I could bounce around to different books when they need me.
Right.
It it it's kind of like I guess you could say it's kind of hard at the beginning to work on a new person because you gotta figure out the rhythm.
Hmm.
You got to figure out, like if he's more organic or more mechanical, like with
Right.
his style. Am I going to use a co quill? Am I going to use a brush? Like for him, I'm going to use both. And you got I guess I have to feel it out for like maybe the first few issues before like I really get into a rhythm with the person that I'm working with. I'm just
Okay.
hoping that they don't fire me before that
Yeah.
Like I we were talking about Spider-Man here. I just grabbed the first one of the arc here, but the difference in how this was inked and the shading on it, there's just so much hatching and cross hatching done and very intricate line work, but not as many big brush strokes.
Mhm.
Peter's bag there is just insane. That
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of that, you could thank Alex for it.
Right,
Doing with me, I was looking at a lot of different inkers at that time, and this is when I was first, like first book that I actually had as a regular gig, and I was really trying to find my style here.
right,
And I still don't think I have a real style, like actually. But like with this, it was either a Joe Kennedy style that I was trying to do, or I started to get into like Tom Palmer and try try to do that. I don't know if I was driving Alex crazy with the way I was using things. I was teaching myself how to use a brush on some of it also, because brushes were really scary to me back at that time.
right.
Uh, but
yeah.
yeah, yeah, with Alex, I was very lucky to actually work with him for like 5 years, working with him
So
on
did
this.
this is kind of silly, but did you? I know this is the letterer's job. I have an obsession with lettering. Did you do the inking on the letter
The
stuffs?
lettering? No,
Yeah,
that was a separate person that did that, and I think
that was
that's
just
when it
letter.
was
Okay.
still actually on the board, instead of being pasted on later or in the computer, like they do it now. So it could usually the letterer might have been like Janice Chang or some of the other guys that would usually do it. We all do separate parts of the book, especially back then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
Well,
writer, the penciler, the inker, the letterer, the colorist.
yeah.
We all do different
Since I
parts.
thought it was the older thing, I wasn't sure if you colored in the or did some of the stuff in the lettering after you drew it because I'm
Oh,
always interested in figuring stuff out.
right.
Like,
Actually, later on, when it was done in the computer, they had us do the borders around it. It used to be the letterer that would do the borders and then the lettering, and then I would do the inking on top of that. So the lettering would actually block off parts, like of the scenery that's in the background, which would make it easier for us. But then when the
Okay.
computers came, none of the lettering was on the artwork anymore, so we had to work on the whole thing because we didn't know where the lettering was going to be placed.
make this great scene, and then suddenly crack a boom is written over the entire background.
It's
You're
cool,
just like,
right?
shit.
Letterers are absolutely amazing. That's an art all to itself,
It,
and for the people who still do it by hand, it's absolutely incredible.
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Um, speaking
We've
of,
had
because we
Rob Lee
had,
on twice, and I just love him.
yeah, and speaking of Keith, we had Mark Morales on last week, and we were talking, and I remember asking him, I was like, "Do you guys like have a secret chat? Do you like inkers have like a text line? You guys are sharing tips, showing pages, like you guys have like a little hidden meeting, like inkers unite, you know."
I don't know how you found this out, and we might have
I'm
to
very
kill you
perceptive. I've seen
for
things.
doing for learning this. You're not supposed to know that we go and meet each other at a Burger King. Like down. Not supposed to know that. No, actually, actually, we only really get a chance to really talk to each other when we're at comic book conventions.
Wow.
That's one of the few times we meet and we get to see each other's work and stuff like that. But it's really funny. We really don't talk too much about how we do our stuff. We're talking about other things when we're there. So, but and the fact that we all live in our own like places and with me, I'm usually in the dark with my lamp on, and I'm just drawing in there by myself. I'm totally isolated, So it's like the only times we do get to talk as a group would be at the conventions.
Right.
But no,
in a
no, there's
secret
no,
society of
there's,
comic.
I mean, there's no secret society. I wish there was.
Yeah. Well, you never know, man. Um, an Inker's version of the Illuminati.
Yeah, but you don't understand. Am I convincing you that there isn't one? I'm convincing you that there isn't one, right?
Oh boy.
Okay, good. Okay.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I was.
let's see you there.
say no more. Say no more.
Oh my
Say
gosh.
no more. I want we don't want you to stop working, Keith. We got to put food on the table, my man. You know.
I need
Um,
for my walls. Please do not
Oh
stop
my God.
working.
yeah, she has space in between each thing, so you got to fill that with some food.
You got it.
You know. Um, well, MJ, do you have anything? I feel like I'm questioning.
I was going to ask about work with Mike Esposito.
Oh, go.
Oh, that's Mike Esposito. My gosh, yeah. That was the first person that I actually worked with at Marvel. Don Perlin, who worked at Marvel at the time, he saw my stuff and was very happy. Like with what he saw, and he called me up one night and asked me if I was interested in doing background inking, which I didn't even know that
Oh,
they
very
did
cool.
background inking. I didn't know what it was. So said, yeah, it's everything but the figure work. You do everything else. And I said, yeah, sure, I'd love to. So he sent me up to Marvel, and my first gig was doing Marvel team
Really?
ups. And that was with Jim Mooney, and I think, and Mike Esposito was the inker on it. And for a few issues, that's how it went. And then I guess Mooney left, and then Ron Frenz took over as penciler. So I think that was like actually his first Spider-Man stuff was when I was doing the backgrounds on his stuff. So I had to make sure that whatever Mike did in the foregrounds that I made it look
Yeah.
seamless.
Yeah,
I
because you
tried,
don't want it to have like
you know.
this about you don't want you want to be a part of a picture, not just yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Just had to take care of all that. And that's the way it went with me as a background inker with Joe Sinnott, with John Byrne, and everybody else that I worked over.
There's also I know you worked for I know you did some work for DC. I think there
Yes,
was there and was Moonstone was it?
and Moonstone Comics. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh gosh, that was the Kochak, Night Stalker Chronicles, and Buckaroo Banzai.
So Buckaroo
Yeah.
Banzai. I
I
was going
worked
to ask
over.
about that too, but oh my gosh, Banzai.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that was great. I had a really good time on that. It was a continuation of the movie,
Oh,
so it's
nice.
like what happened right after the movie. And the funny thing is that I also worked on the Buckaroo Banzai story that they did at Marvel
Mm,
back when Mark Texera was the penciler on that, and they
nice.
asked me to do some background inking over his stuff.
Oh my
So
God.
it's really amazing how like I was doing it back then, back in like the '80s and the '90s, and then I was doing it in the 2000s. Oh,
Crazy.
plus I also got to see the movie, the original movie, and I got to hold the main thing, which was the
Oh,
overthruster
really
that
cool.
that
Wow.
uh, that Buckaroo Banzai used in the car that allowed him to go through
Yeah.
the mountain.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, next thing you know, you had like a photo with Peter Weller. I would just be like, all right, now I'll be like, wow, we have something in common because we both have
Yes,
photos with RoboCop. So there you go.
With Doctor Peter Weller.
Oh
Yes.
Right. That's right.
my
Don't
Everybody.
mess
gosh.
that up.
Yeah, it's
Oh
true.
my gosh.
I learned that when I met him years ago. It's Doctor Peter
Pete.
Weller.
Yes,
Everybody.
yes,
He studied.
yes.
You
He
got to make
did.
sure you
Oh,
give him his proper
oh,
He
accreditations.
did get his doctorate. Yes. So you got to make
But
sure.
he's such a nice guy. But
He is. He really is.
and then you when I saw Buckaroo Banzai, I was like, oh, what a great weird movie.
That was such a great movie. I loved it, and it was like Doc Savage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Only like updated sort of, because he had his group, that was behind him, his men that did all these interesting things. But Baku Banzai and his group, they knew how to play music. It's great.
it makes them cooler, instantly cooler.
I think so.
I,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, um, and then moving on, like to switch gears to another thing. So, I mean, we have to bring up you worked on the Phantom for
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong, about a
Yes,
decade.
that's
Yes. About 10 years. From
So, so
1995 to 2005.
big
Yeah.
fan. Phantom.
jeez,
Yeah.
wow. So, I mean, and then on top of it, I feel like, and I feel like we brought this up before on other guests. I feel like something of that longevity is it really just feel like a thing of comic book past because you know like I feel like especially where we see projects where people of the same creative team are there year after year after year is so rare now because a lot of times the way comics are you need the fill-ins or you need assistants because life happens and process. But I mean 10 years, man. I mean, did you when you accepted the project, did you think 10 years later you'd be
I
like,
didn't even think it was gonna. I didn't even think it was gonna be
Oh,
like a month.
really?
I had no idea.
wow,
Yeah, it was luck. That was a job that Danny Fingeroff got me in touch with, and
wow,
he sent me to Jay Kennedy, who was at the time the guy who ran the comic strip part of King Features for the newspapers, and I got to meet him and show
right.
him my artwork and my inking, and he said, "Oh well, you're gonna have to see Lee Falk. He'll be the one to definitely okay you, like if he wants you to do it or not. So the creator of the Phantom, I didn't really know about the I knew about the Phantom, but I wasn't really into, except for Defenders of the Earth, all that stuff that was going on. And but they sent me to Lee Falk, who lived on 80 West 86 and Central Park West. I mean, these are the cartoonists that made money. Okay, so I go up to meet him on his in his sixth floor apartment that only had an elevator that went just to his door. It
Right.
opened out. There's a little tiny alcove area and picture of the Phantom, like in a different language, on the wall, and there's his door, and that's it. So he opens the door, and he's like wearing like sort of like a smoking jacket, sort of like, and he lets me come in, and he shows me into the living room, and you're able to look out the window, and he has like this amazing view of Central Park West, and you also have the planetarium right below
Mhm.
him. And it's also the area where they would blow up the balloons for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. So,
Right.
like he gets that every year. But he was such a nice guy, fortunately. And I showed him my work, and he said, okay, you got the job.
Bam.
Very
And
cool.
I just kept working, and I wanted to try and make sure that it um, looked at the continuation to look like Cy Barry. I was coming in the middle of a story that he was
Right.
doing, and he retired in '95. Phantom Cowboy. So I had to make sure that and George Olsen, he was the penciler, and he also like worked with Cy too.
Right.
Uh, so I just had to make sure that it looked as close to Cy as possible. So all I was worried about was like making sure that it had a good continuity and didn't shake people up. When I started.
Absolutely. So I have to ask, just because again, I admittedly am a fan of it, but I like what like when you guys as a comic creators work on projects and then you see them be adapted to film, is that one of those where you're like, yay, and then it's like, oh,
Well,
okay,
well, the okay, so the Phantom. Okay, uh,
right,
I, I love Billy Zane in it. He was
Yes,
great. He was the Phantom. He must have like read a lot of the strips. I mean, got a
right,
basic idea of how he's a friend to his friends, and he's an enemy. He's a serious enemy to his enemies. Okay,
right,
so but I I I might have felt that it was still at that time when we were a little nervous. It was before Iron Man. It was before the Hulk, I think. They were still trying to figure that comic books were supposed to have that word comic in it. So, like more of
right,
like the slight Batman-y kind of
right.
66 kind of stuff. So, they Treat Williams was a great actor and everything, but he really chewed up the scenery in that movie.
Yeah.
The three skulls and all that stuff. It was kind of it was interesting, but overall, the whole movie, I did enjoy it. I do know that a lot of people thought that it could have been better. I
Okay.
actually saw the premiere, and I got to meet Billy Zane, so
Oh,
that was
nice.
really cool too. Yeah, yeah.
They,
But
they,
I liked it. I liked it.
okay. I mean,
I
listen,
wish there was
I
another.
know.
I wish there was another part to it, so that maybe they could have grew it a little bit more, and try and get into it as an action adventure thing more than comic book comedy kind of. But it's good. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. I mean, the fact that you got to meet Billy Zane, and I assume you
Yes, it's
introduced
true.
yourself as, hi, yeah, I've been, inking it a bit longer than you've been the Phantom, and he was like, oh wow, cool, man. Like, nice. How you doing?
Yeah. I like you. I get tongue tied. So
Yes.
it was basically saying hi. You do great work. And this is even before Titanic.
Right. Of
So
course.
so he was just very nice to me. He was very patient for the few minutes that we
Fair
got
enough.
to talk together. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, listen, that's fantastic. And like I said, I mean, we're of the age now where I feel like now so many people are like, was it a movie? And I'm like, there was a time when comic books were comic book,
Mm.
you know. Um, so I don't know, guys. MJ, Carrie, do you have any questions? I feel like I'm doing that thing where I'm talking a lot again.
Yeah, I it's okay. I was looking through some of your original art and stuff that was on sale at different places, like the prints and stuff that you've made. Oh boy, mother. But I was wondering when you're doing your own stuff and you don't have to conform to anybody else's style, who whatever the penciler's doing, what kind of inking what kind of brushes or pens, what medium do you like to use? I know there's like the ink pens, there's markers, there's all the different kinds of brushes and stuff, but what are you most comfortable in and what do you enjoy most
Right.
for
Well,
yourself?
well, when I have the time, I really like working with folk quills. They're they're fine. I started with those, and I could make it sometimes, most of the time, I could make it look like it could be brush.
Mhm.
Also, I could do something like that. I have more control with that than any of the other tools. Brushes are good. I did teach myself how to make really thin lines with a number two Winsor Newton Series 7 brush. Okay, let's see. Um, with the crow quills, those are usually 102 hunt nibs. That's a crow quill nib that you dip in ink, and then you do your artwork. You draw on the page. Use microns, which are markers. They come in different kinds of sizes. They took the place of rapidographs, which were things that you would fill up and would be really really hard to clean when they would get clogged up. And I would take those things apart. It was such a nightmare trying to put them back together again after you clean them. So thank goodness for microns. For coloring, I use things like Copic markers or other kinds of alcohol-based markers. I also use watercolors if I'm doing coloring and stuff like that. Also, would use geez, the Clip Studio Paint program for coloring for some things if I'm turning my original artwork into a print. So I'd use that. I got a whole mess of different tools that I use, and I'm always learning. I'm always learning how to use different things. I'm continuously learning, and it's never boring for me. Like
That's
it's
awesome.
always scary and fun and at the same time and interesting, and when you learn a new thing, it's like you're accomplishing something. It's great.
That is great that you're so
Yes.
versatile and that you still love it because I know so many people that are just like, it's like it's become a job and that's all it is. And it's just like, no, if you don't like it, quit doing it. You don't, this is something art requires passion. It's not
Hmm.
just getting paid, you know?
That's true. That is true. If you wanted to get really paid, there are other professions that that you could get paid a lot better than actually being an artist. But I love doing this stuff, and this is something that I wanted to do since I was a kid. Um, in a strange way, I have to thank Photoshop for being created because if it wasn't for that, I would still probably just be an inker. And I was like doing that because I was inker for most of the time that I was, like doing this, about 30, almost 30 years at that point. But once Photoshop came and they learned how to darken pencils, so that inkers weren't needed as much, I said to myself, well, I got to get back into, like doing what I really wanted to do first, which was pen. And that's, that's how I had to relearn how to do everything all over again. I was able to correct other people's pencils, but I wasn't able to do it do it for myself. I had to really reteach myself a lot of stuff, and that's good too because I haven't really been penciling for really a long period of time. So, like I said, it's interesting. It still interests me. It's scary and it's fun.
Okay.
So you're doing that on Photoshop and on like
I could do
tablets,
it. I could
or do
do
you
it
do it
on
on paper and
tablet.
scan it in?
I do work on a Wacom tablet, so I do a lot of sketching on that to get an idea, and then after that I would send it to my printer, and I'd have it printed out, and then and then this is another step that makes it even longer than it should be. I would use lead on the back of the paper, and I like darken that in, then turn it over, and then I would draw it onto another piece of paper so that it would be clean. It wouldn't be blue line, it would be pencil line. So then after I do that, I can ink it and I can erase the pencils. You don't see any kind of blue line or anything like that. It's just a finished original piece of artwork at that time.
Very
I do a lot of steps.
Gotcha. Shout out for that
Oh,
awesome job on Autumn and Woody.
yes, absolutely.
Quantum and Woody. Holy cow. Good grief. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
Hey, Goop.
Yeah,
Um,
that was fun. Yeah.
oh yeah, no, it's a great book.
Hmm.
Such a
Oh, yeah.
silly, fun book. Quantum Woody. My God. My God.
And so you're still into comics too? Like, are you collecting or are you still reading stuff?
Wow. I used to collect a lot, but it's become a little expensive now. So it's like I kind of wait. Sometimes I wait for the trade paperbacks if I'm gonna, pick up a story that sounds interesting. I'll do that. But I used to have. I still do have thousands of comic books. Like in boxes up in my loft area. So, from like starting to collect when I was a teenager, all the way up until probably I was in my late 30s, most likely. Yeah.
Oh,
And if I
Nice.
see a book that I like, I'll pick it up. Like if I stop
there
by
you go.
like
Why not?
or Midtown Comics, one of those.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, because I feel like Leo would ask this, so Carrie, I'm going to ask one of the Leo questions. Um,
Oh, okay.
yes. So, when you're not, creating works of art. Um, what are you passionate about outside of doing comics and whatnot? Or is there anything you geek out about? Anything you do for fun? What is the story of Keith Williams outside of the studio?
Uh, let's see. Um, having a a moment in time to relax and sit down with my wife and maybe watch a movie. Right now we're watching Suits, so we do that like around dinner time. So just that and being able to go out and have dinner and then just take a walk, things like that. That doesn't involve any of this. Um, yeah. Oh, believe it or not, if I ever do get the chance, cleaning the house. I go wanting to clean my room, which is a mess right now. I get like those little things will
There
like
you go.
I feel it's like an accomplishment
There's
when I
nothing wrong
do
with
that.
that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
Yeah,
can come over
same. Like
anytime. I'm,
my
you
cats
know.
love their ship people.
after after I do mine, after I finish
Oh, okay.
mine,
I mean, listen,
no
I'm
problem.
I'm I'm where with him. There is something oddly therapeutic about cleaning. You just put on some good tunes and you just clean and then you just sit down after it's all done and you're like, all right, it's gonna go to shit soon, but at
You
least
know
I
what
can
That
it
enjoy
guy,
this
is?
one day.
Literally, all
One
this right
day.
here, guys, all last week after I got off work, literally was cleaning the house and all that because I was going to a con and all that. And all this, I hung everything up, and there's so much more that I got to hang up. I did all of this like yesterday, actually. And then there's
Wow,
more that I'm hanging up because
not bad.
today
this,
my brother, bless him, he put up with me. I love him so much. He helped me run LEDs. They're not on right now. I just had the fairy lights on, but I love my brother. He put up with me. That's
Family.
yeah, yeah.
That's so
this,
cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
that guy down there has been my Terrificon roommate for 2
Yeah.
years in a row, and
Wow.
our hotel room is immaculate. Like I get in, I'm the person who I'm just like everything I wear is
Same,
black, so my
me.
whole suitcase is just it's just like t-shirts, pants,
Okay,
everything,
my personal.
like socks. Well, I have partly colored socks, but that's it. But so I get in there and I unpack and stuff, and he's already got things hanging up, and I just live out of my suitcase. I don't unpack
Really?
it. I just grab
That
it
could
Wow.
in,
never
put
be
other stuff
me.
back
Oh my
in.
god, that could never be me.
He's got the drawers.
No, no, I got to put things in the
He
drawer.
got my
Same.
Thank
pillows
you.
and puts everything everywhere. He's just like, and I'm like, but we're only here for 2 days, so why would you unpack it, fold it, put it in a drawer, and then like just take it back out again? And like he's the next morning he'll be, oh here I got your breakfast set up and I moved your pills
That's
and this is where
Drew.
you
I
lay
need you
them
Wow.
and
for a
this is your
roommate, man. I'm just
he's
saying. I need you for a
Holy
roommate.
cow.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just
he's a great
Just saying.
roommate.
I
listen.
go to a lot of
Listen,
conventions, guys.
MJ.
A good roommate.
MJ, just let me know where to send the resume.
Bro.
You know, like I listen. I'm telling you, I'm funny. I'm respectful. There's always pizza.
Okay,
You
you
know,
said
Yeah.
there's always pizza. First of
Wow.
all,
there's
Wow.
always
Holy
listen. We
cow.
always stock up on Pepe's,
Pepe's.
Frank Pepe's pizza. So and we have it chilling in the room, which is always frigidly icebox-ish. So
yes.
we
Yes.
come back, it's cold pizza. We chillin', we illin', we chillin', we villain, and then at the end
We
of
have
the
our
day,
Coke
because you've
Zeros.
been at
Wow.
a con, the only thing you want to do is you eat and then okay, cool, nighttime,
Listen, so
okay,
the
good
thing,
night.
I say that I do unpack. I do unpack most of it. There's some things I always have. What my my brother calls it my con go bag because I do a lot of
Well,
work with
yeah.
charities and appearances for kids and things like that. So at any time, so it's, hey, we need a character. I have just my grab and go suits. So I take them. I'm ridiculous. I
Wow.
take them. I launder them. I fold them. I vacuum seal these damn cosplays, and and they hang them. So literally, all I've got to do is grab the suit and go. I am
That is
efficient.
so
So
cool.
That makes
I
that
like
makes
that.
sense since you're a
Mhm.
cosplayer.
Yeah.
I'm just t-shirt and pull
You
on some black
know,
pants
my
and
day,
I'm good.
see,
So that's why
I'm
I'm just like
I'm
suitcases.
upset because even when I'm not in costume, my day to day, my outfit has to look good. My costumes I wear every
well,
day.
yeah, I'm kind of there with her. I kind of see your validity, both of you. It really depends on my day, because some days I'm like, I'm a suit. I'm a suited up.
Tiring.
I'm gonna look nice for no apparent reason because I want to be that guy. And then some days I'm like, I'm a
You're,
plaid boy. I just, you know, I literally look like something straight out of Supernatural with
do you
plaids.
really? Do
You know what I
you
mean?
really?
And then some days, like I'm just chilling. I got the plaid on. I've got some sort of
Yeah,
nerd
no,
shirt.
I'm wearing
I've
my
got
Tom Hardy and
jeans. I
Riker
got
shirt. You know,
chucks.
so
Oh, that's so
this
cool.
is make it.
You
This is
know,
make it. So
so that's me. That that just depends. But you can ask Carrie, because sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna like this, and she's like, why are you in a full red suit with a black tie?
listen,
Like, and then I'll show up. Someone's like, why are you dressing up? I was like, I just felt like going to the con looking like a jazz
listen,
age Mephisto.
listen,
I just
man. My day
I
today,
like
I
the
wear scrubs
option.
for work. Okay, so I wear scrubs. Scrubs is my, what I wear. But when the days I'm not working, like when I'm not at work, I mean, I have I'm very goth. All my stuff is black, and I have the fish and all the different textures and things like that. People are like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just doing groceries." Where are you? She goes, I'm like, I'm just going groceries.
But
She goes, "Like that?" I'm like, "What?"
so speak. You know what? Actually, this is a good question. So Keith, so you've been to cons. You've seen a lot of cosplays, but
Oh
have
yeah.
you
Yes.
yourself dressed in costume for anything? Is there like are would you ever go to a con and let's say maybe you're rocking some Mace Windu
Cool.
robes? You know what I
That would
mean?
be
Wow,
so
that would
cool.
be cool. But no, I don't I don't do that. I left all that stuff back when I was doing Halloween, like stuff.
You know,
When I was
Oh man, come
It's
on.
my birthday.
this is my uniform. This is what I wear. This is
That's
it.
Listen, whatever work. I'm just saying, man.
fun post.
I feel you could definitely pull off
yeah,
some
I agree.
classic stuff, my man. I could see you rocking some, let's see, like some Darth Vader,
Mace
some
Windu
Mace
Oh
would be really
wow.
cool to see.
Windu
Yeah,
level
that'd be really
stuff. Maybe pull out a classic, like some Meteor Man level stuff.
Okay,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Like,
I,
and
I
and
I
and I
like that.
understand because maybe you just don't want to wear the spandex the whole time.
Definitely don't
You
want to wear
know,
the.
you know. I
I
mean,
don't
I
want
mean,
anybody to
listen.
think
You
it's
could
bad.
even listen. I'm just saying you could even pull off some. Just pull off some. You could just pull on a hat, and you could just literally be James Earl Jones in Field of Dreams.
Oh, okay. Oh, ooh.
You know what I mean? Just
Well,
full
most
I
casual.
casual
Yeah,
like
thing in
doing
the
that.
world. Being like, no, no, I am not traveling with these crazy white people. Like, I don't know where
this
you're
is
Yeah,
going,
me.
I
but
can do
what
that.
I don't care. Baseball, I don't
These
know, but this
crazy
is.
white
I
people.
don't
That's
care where you're
hilarious.
going. I'm not getting in this van. Like, none of that. Um,
Oh, you could be Kevin Costner. I could be James Earl Jones.
listen,
I can work that. I can do that.
like any person in the world, when I finally saw the movie, considering my slight issues, I did get teary eyed at the end. I was like, okay, why? Kevin, don't do this to me. You're gonna throw the ball to Ray Liotta, aren't you? And I'm like, oh no. Like the ending, I was like, oh, the feelings.
That's all right. I cried too.
No,
I
listen,
had tears in
listen,
my eyes. It was very touching. I
Keith,
will give
listen. It is okay to admit that we men cry. The secret is that people don't know is that when the tears hit the floor, depending on what level you're at, it turns into an object. So it could be jelly bean, it could be gold coins,
A
and it
jelly,
could be,
a
you know
jelly
what?
bean, really?
I'm just saying.
you got some
I'm
cool
telling
tears,
you,
man.
I'm
jelly
just saying.
beans.
Yeah, I'm just saying. This is why I don't cry because I have to conserve my energy for when I really need the coins. Laundry day is a big deal,
My
my man.
gosh.
Uh, but
Oh man.
I'm just saying, Keith, if you do, I know, the one above me will 100% be like, I'm sorry, look at this. This is one of my favorite creators. He's suited up. We're proud of him.
I'm
You know, He's got
I
I
love,
that.
may
I
or may
love,
not
I love
spoken
cosplaying. I really
to them about you, man. I may or may not have, so
Yeah, I'm
Oh
just saying,
God!
if you do like an older
Oh,
version of Jay
oh
from Men
yeah,
in
that'd be
Black,
cool.
this was
oh,
Castle
I
Saving the
love
World, like
Jay.
Jay, but he's Zed, I would be
I'm
like, I'm for
100% for
this.
that.
I'm literally, Keith, I just want you to live your best life and just consider options. That's it.
Well,
I'm just putting this out there.
thank you.
I guarantee this is going to be a funny conversation with you and Mrs. Williams. She's going to be like, wow, he's so funny. It ain't happening, but that's so funny.
I'll tell you. Like I love the cosplayers. They're absolutely incredible. And I love taking pictures of them. You get to see them on Facebook and on Instagram. You guys are so cool.
I
Definitely.
like cosplay. I think what brought me cosplay, I was really, really, really big, like overweight for so long, yeah. But people were paying me to build these props. So I was building long before I was suiting up.
Oh,
So there's a certain level of accomplishment. Now I get to suit up now too. I'm very happy. I get to suit up now.
that's great.
And I
That is
get to,
I,
wow.
I have a
I like making stuff. I still love building stuff. Right now, I'm working on like a new Baroness chest. I'm working on my get. There's always something going on in my workshop.
It's
Well,
true.
cool. You guys have
Always.
incredible passion. I love it.
I,
I love
and
it.
and the worst part, Keith, is that she'll admit she's listening to our show while she's building these things. I was like, don't put pressure on her like that,
No,
because
you guys have been the voice. I want to think. You guys have been the voice in my ear for couple of years now that I'm aware of. Like when I'm building, oftentimes you're in my head. I'm laughing, and my brother's looking like, "What are you laughing at? What is your?"
hi, it's me.
Like,
I'm a
what are
silly
you?
bitch. He's fine.
Here he is running
uh,
the airbrush. He's running the airbrush over, like we're making texture some stuff or whatever. And he just hears all I hear when I stop is MJ cackling. He's looking at me like, what are you? I guess the splash page goes, oh, you. He goes, you and your bloody podcast. He goes, yeah, and he just,
Hello.
that's great.
Yeah,
he goes,
well,
you're listening to them again, aren't you?
I love
yeah.
it.
Carrie, did you have a question, or you were saying something? You look like you were gearing up.
oh no, we're not letting the man speak at all.
No, sorry.
We're
Oh,
just talking.
No, I'm doing. I'm
I,
enjoying this. This
oh,
is great.
okay, okay. I just want to make sure that we weren't just like cutting you
It's
off.
sorry.
okay. If you do have a question, it's fine.
Okay.
Oh, I just saw what is Jeremy? Oh
Jeremy.
yeah, right. Yes,
Jeremy.
yes, yes. Hi,
Jar.
Jeremy.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
where I'm like, oh my god, Jeremy's here. Hey, that's
Mm-hmm.
really cool.
we
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
Jar.
What's up,
Yeah.
Beaker?
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I walk around the cons with a squirrel, and people look at
Yes.
me. It got
Yeah,
strange at the airport once, but I already told that story before.
yeah, you
So,
did. It was a
oh,
funny
back
story.
there.
There was a lot of.
Yeah.
They thought you were nuts.
That
Thank you.
was so bad.
I'm gonna
Oh,
go. I think.
oh
That
man.
was
I think.
bad.
Drew's in
Holy
timeout.
cow.
Yeah, I'm on timeout. I Leo'd. I'm sorry. Yeah, our pun master.
Gosh,
Um.
that was awful.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Thank
So
you.
you said
Thank
when
you.
you were you said when
Um.
you were really young is you decided that like comics is what you wanted to do. So
Yes.
where I mean we know everybody has their origin story and you've probably recited it 1,000 times, but what was your getting into comics and deciding origin story?
Like, my grandma gave me my first comic to I keep and to have, which was a Batman comic, and every weekend when she would come over to the house, she'd drop off some more comic books, but they were basically DC comics at the time, so I didn't know anything about Marvel. I did not know that. But after a while, I discovered the Marvel stuff, which was kind of no, it was very different from what DC was doing. And I got hooked onto that too. But I wanted to do my own stuff for some strange reason. I wanted to create my own characters. I wanted to do my own stories, and I had a friend that was also interested in doing the same thing. So we both lived in the projects together, and we would hang out in the hallway of our project, and we would just be drawing and creating comic book uh, characters, like on the floor of our, like our hallway. And I kept going with it. He didn't, and it seemed like in high school that it really clicked because I still was thinking of possibly being an astronaut, but I decided that I had a really great guidance counselor who saw my stuff, and I won an award for some kind of air pollution thing. And she said that you should really take this up, like, see where it takes you. And I was in the major art classes at in high school, and that's basically what I wanted to do. All the art that they gave me, all the assignments had I turned into something that looked like a comic book thing. It was just my thing. And when I went into college, I picked School of Visual Arts because Will Eisner was there, and
Wow.
he who created the Spirit comic strip, and his stuff was absolutely incredible, storytelling wise, drawing, beautiful stuff. I wanted to meet him, and I wanted to like be in his class. So there you go. I did get myself into the class. It did take a little bit of time, but I had him sign my Contract with God book, which was like one of the first graphic novels that came out uh, back then. And I did it in his class. I was sitting there, like just hanging out, and I gave him the book, and he signs it. And as he's signing, he says, "You see, this is how you get into my class." So after that point,
Nice.
I was enrolled the next term, and I stayed in there until I graduated. It was
And you ended up just working with him, didn't you, right after that?
no, I wish I did.
Or
Not
okay,
Will. No, no, I didn't. Didn't he did hire some of the people that were in the class though, but I wasn't
okay.
ready at that point.
Oh,
My penciling, my art was not the best, which is why I was like so happy that I actually got into being an inker. So like I got in sort of like a roundabout way of what I really wanted to do, and then the inking just took off,
Nice.
and that, and as well as like while I was working at Marvel, I was a background inker, which then got me into working with John Romita as Romita Raider,
Wow.
doing art corrections. So I was the first one to be part of that group because I overheard them talking about it, and I said, I got to do this. Like I mean, they're talking about it. When you start it, I need to be in it. So I was able to do that for a while, and then what happened was while I was doing that work, Jim Owsley was promoted as editor of Spider-Man, and Jim Owsley's Christopher Priest, who like wrote things like the Black Panther and stuff like that. So he came up to me and asked me if I was interested in being his assistant editor.
Mm.
I, you know, so I said yes, and we became the first all black editorial team at Marvel.
Wow.
And we were working on the flagship book, which
Yeah,
was
yes.
absolutely amazing. That you know, I mean, I watched Spider-Man when I was a kid back in the '60s, and all that stuff. And I always loved the character, but I never thought that it was actually going to be, working on him,
Hmm.
having him do things,
Right.
and we were there at around the time of Secret Wars, so we were also there when he changed from his red and blue costume into the black costume. So that was a pretty cool period of time. But I couldn't stay there. I wanted to do inking, so like I had to leave after a bit, and I started doing backgrounds again. But then I finally got my chance doing inking for Sectors. That was the first thing
Mm.
I did. Sectors, and then Transformers, and
Right.
then I got the Web of Spider-Man gig. Which was pretty lucky, and I was still working on Spider-Man.
Right.
This was like wow, So yeah, so I got to ink that, like so, and did that for 5 years. So yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
That
besides all the
is.
other different books that I worked on at Marvel, like the Atlantis Attack stuff, the Quasar, Silver
Mhm.
Surfer, Warlock Chronicles, stuff like that.
That's so cool, man. Um,
So, is there anything that you've really wanted to work on that you haven't had a chance to yet that you're hoping that you get a chance to?
There's
Or
there's a lot of stuff I don't know. It's like who knows? Like I can never say that any of it wouldn't happen. There's a lot of people coming back and doing stuff. So there's
right.
always a chance. I mean, I would have loved to work on Batman for a bit. That would be great.
Right.
And some of the other I actually did ink a Superman, but I'd like to yeah, I'd like to do some stuff for you know DC, stuff like that. But it's like whatever happens, happens. Right now, I'm doing a lot of independent stuff,
Nice.
and covers and things like that. So
Right.
it's keeping me busy.
That's all you can ask
there
for.
Yeah, that's what
there's a lot of
busy's good.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new creator-owned stuff coming out, with like Distillery and Ghost Machine and just tons of different. I'm not going to go through list them all, but is that how do you think that's working with the comic book industry? Like, is that good for the creators? And it,
I think at this moment in time, the more the merrier. Um, not all of them will be like levels like I guess Image or how they broke through or Dark Horse and stuff like that. But like I think everybody that's trying, I think it's fine. You get out there and hopefully it'll give some of the new guys that are coming up now some place to go to work unless they're thinking of doing their own thing. You know. So
Mm.
yeah, no, I know it's probably hard to make a hit. That's you got to be like lucky and like hope that enough people get to see it to be able to do something like that. But like I say, go for it. Go for it.
Mahana, MJ, did you have anything?
Ah, Domino Lady. That was Moonstone. Yeah. Eh, There we go. Am I
There you
back?
go. Yeah,
There
you.
you
Yeah, I was like, we can't hear you.
No, we no. I really enjoyed inking that. It had a nice kind of like sort of like 1940s feel to it. But yeah, that was fun too. Moonstone was really great with giving me kind of different stuff to work on. Um, for them, I like I said, Kojak and also, besides Buckaroo Banzai, I think there was I actually did do a Phantom Captain Action thing too
Mm.
for them, which was really cool. Another place that I worked for was Avatar Press, and for them I did Lady Death covers. I was
All
inking
right.
Lady Death. I was like also doing another uh, book called Cross, where people who get infected by this virus, they end up getting a rash in the shape of a cross on their face, and it would turn them into maniacal, sociopathic psychopaths. It was frightening. Like the things that they would do. Still gives me nightmares. Especially the covers that I did for them, which was totally insane. If you the guy who did the penciling for it, he's another one. I don't know how he sleeps at night, but he was absolutely amazing. And he would put so much into a cover that you'd have to keep looking at it to get to see everything. It was like insane. Everything, decapitations to everything. Anyway, or you had like this Mad Max kind of thing going on, with a body strapped onto the front, screaming. It's like, oh my god. But yeah, I got to do that, and there was oh gosh, what's the other thing that I messed up? Oh, besides Hellfighters, which was great. That was another one that came from Avatar Press. That was the story about World War One African Americans fighting, or trying to fight for the United States, and all the troubles and problems that they had doing that,
Nice.
how they survived, through the war.
Nice.
Like with surviving the Germans and surviving Americans. So it was like sort of like that, yeah. So that was and there was another book, Uber, that I did. That was a World War II story. That was great. Kanan White did the pencils, and it was about super soldier formula getting into the hands of everybody, all different, like all the different people who were fighting each other in World War II, and how they were using these superpowered psychopaths to go after each other to fight their war for them.
Oh, okay.
Which was really cool.
Sounds like fun.
That does sound really cool.
Yeah, take a look in the go to Food Planet or one of your favorite comic book store. Hopefully they have some of that stuff. So.
Well, I think I'm good. Are you guys? You guys have any other questions?
I think so. I have my little notebook and I wrote everything down. Because I'm a list girl. I need to have my lists.
No, I understand.
I am a list person.
Well, I'm lost without this.
See? Yeah, I caught my electronic brain.
Yeah, exactly. One of these days, gonna have a jack that goes right in there.
You know what? It's this. Yeah. Kind of. No, I'm not. I'm not on board with that. In fact,
you're not ready for that. No.
Oh no, man! It'd be like a Google, like all these windows open, music coming from somewhere, don't know where it's coming from. No, that's
she's a multiple tabs girl.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, Keith, thank you so much for joining us, man. This is absolutely great. We, hopefully we'll all get to see you at a con together. So that's just a whole lot of crazy in one photo. So speaking of, are you going to any conventions? Do you have any upcoming cons this spring and summer that people can see you at? And on top of that, what's the best way for people to interact with you on social media?
Oh, okay. Well, this weekend coming up, I think almost like every weekend that's coming up, I kind of got something for the next bunch of weeks. But I have CT GamerCon that's in Connecticut.
Nice.
I have yeah, and what else I got? Super Retro Fest. That's in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I saw an advert for that today.
Oh, okay. There you go. Great. And I have a Long Island comic expo thing that's going to be, I believe, at Dave and Buster's. David Buster's somewhere there. And oh yeah, okay. I have Little Giant Comics. That's going to be in April. The 5th. Lehigh Valley. That's the 12th. Super Jersey Comic Expo. That's the 26th of April. So I got a bunch of things, and that's just I got more, but I won't get into that. Like I usually have a.
Right.
I run around to a lot of different shows, so. Last year I must have done like 30.
Wow. Impressive, man.
That really is, man.
Insane.
Is there a chance we'll see you at Terrificon this year?
Yes, you will.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Terrificon is cool. I love Terrificon.
Okay, good. Because now, Carrie, add this to the to-do list. Photo with Keith.
Photo with Keith. And how do you keep yourself hydrated at cons? And what do you have on your con booth of like, this is how I survive my day?
Like,
Water.
water. Yeah. I got to tell you, when I first started doing this stuff, and I was just busy drawing, and I wasn't really thinking about hydrating and stuff. I would be wrecked. I would be wrecked by the time the show would be closing. Yeah, I've learned how to do that, and I would have some sugar-free snacks and
Okay.
stuff like that, and God help me, convention food.
God help you indeed.
Well,
Yeah.
we will have a Splash Pages hydration station set up for all of our friends of the show. So we'll make
Woohoo!
sure we keep you going. You can swing by the booth.
Yeah, man.
Great, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, Keith. Either like it's usually our booth is like near the entrance, so you can't miss us if you're going through the front. But we also occasionally walk through, and we're like, "Do you need something? Do you need something? Do you need something?" It's like we were keeping Mark Wade eternally supplied with Diet Cokes,
Oh, that's great.
Yes, and
and
you
he
guys
was
more than want water.
he was eternally grateful. You haven't lived till Mark Wade is giving you shade about not having a fresh Diet Coke, as he sees you in the corner of his eyes, like, wow, I'm so parched. Could only imagine how what I would do if I had a Diet Coke.
Oh
And I'm
no.
just like, I see you there, Clark. I
Oh my
see
gosh.
you,
Oh yeah.
and
I
sir, like, I'll be back in a flash.
I picked up these for this year for us to carry around.
Oh
They're little
man.
six
Oh,
they're
that's
Thank
little
you.
great.
six-pack lunchbox coolers. So
Nice.
when we make the rounds, we can carry those around.
Ah,
Yeah,
very
point
nice.
is, now that we've identified you, sir, we know you. We will keep you hydrated. If we should by chance have some sugar-free snackies, we should just discreetly drop them on your table like such, and then walk away. Been like,
You guys are the
Secret
best.
squirrel.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Hey,
we have a problem.
I got to tell you,
Carrie,
conventions, they're great, and the people there are great, and you guys are fantastic. Thank
oh,
you.
thank you. We appreciate that.
Excelsior!